What would you rather? Speedrun Tier 120s in less than 2 minutes? Maybe even Tier 150s? Face roll Tier 8 Infernal Hordes? Or have infinite damage scaling and imploding PCs? Well shit, this guy wanted it all and that's what he got. That's Makuna, the godliest of Sorcerer players, and this is his Lightning Spear build for Season 5, which coincidentally also looks to be the overall strongest build of the season. Damn right. The Sorcerers are popping off. And to understand this fucking gem of a build, let's hop into the traveling machine and go back to the PTR for a second. Because back then, Lightning Spear was a decent build, and it was all due to the splintering energy aspect, allowing for infinite damage, stacking via crit damage bonus. But then, something amazing happened, and that is a buff to Fractured Winterglass. Not only did this allow for a gigantic chain reaction to take place, but also the reduction of conjuration cooldowns each time a frozen orb explodes. Combine this with the Conjuration Mastery passive, and we now have everything we need to understand the build, because this means that the splintering energy aspect allows for infinite damage stacking. The Conjuration cooldown reduction allows for instant cooldown resets of Lightning Spear, and all of the Conjuration cooldown resets and spamming allows for another infinite scaling via Conjuration Mastery, where each conjuration grants multiplicative damage. For reference, the 60 or so conjurations that Makuna has out grants roughly 700% additional damage. Pretty decent. So, how do you play this build? Well, damn, it depends on your gear. If you have great gear, then all you do is shoot out one frozen ball sack onto your enemies, followed by spamming Lightning Spear. If you don't have great gear, however, I have another planner for you to check out. A Lightning Spear Frozen Orb Hybrid by this handsome fella. It's all in the description. Either way, let's head for the big boy version. Starting us off, for the big boy version you'll need Shaco. This is due to the humongous amounts of cooldown reduction it provides, allowing for Lightning Spear spamming. You also need to masterwork the cooldown reduction. All of the masterworking priorities can also be found down here. Tyrael's Might is an insane piece as well, but not required. You can also slap on the concentration aspect, for example. For the gloves, you're grabbing the Storm Swell aspect. It's also important what stats you grab here. The splintering aspect only works if you crit, and on top of that, it scales via crit damage. So those two stats are more important than anything else. As Pantaloonies, he's rocking the Tybalt's Will simply for more damage, and Essu's for the crit chance. If you evade every now and then, you'll gain a whopping 40% crit chance with ease. For the two-hander, you'll slap on the splintering aspect here, as it's our source of damage and we want to boost it as much as possible. You also want to get the chance of Lightning Spears to cast twice to 100%. Now here's a tip. If you lack the cooldown reduction to rock the build, then you can swap out the two-hander for a one-hander and offhand instead, as you'll then be able to use cooldown reduction on the offhand. You'll lose some damage, but at the same time, you will be able to actually play the build LMAO. You'd then just slap on a random damage aspect on the offhander and rock that until you've got your Shaco Master worked. We then have the jewelry. If you get a good Fractured Winterglass and Masterwork Conjuration Mastery, then your damage is going to fucking skyrocket. And for the one brain cell dad gamers that can't read, each time you throw out a frozen orb and it explodes, it has a chance to spawn conjurations. On top of that, the Lightning Spears that you're throwing out all has a decent chance of spawning frozen orbs. This basically causes a chain reaction and is why you only need to throw out one frozen orb before spamming Lightning Spears. For the rings, we first have the Frozen Orbit. This allows for the frozen ball sacks to explode additional times, and it is the explosions that cause the conjurations to spawn here. So simply, more conjurations. And of course, Tal Rasha, 60% damage and cooldown reduction, just lovely. And for final note, the Firebolt enchant is used to gain burning, and Ice Blades for cooldown reduction and more conjurations. Well damn bud. Gear and aspects done. Let's head for the skill tree, shall we? Starting us off, we have Firebolt and Frozen Orb ranks, just so we can proceed to the next skills. We also pick up Charged Bolts here. This is to get the damage reduction here. The Charged Bolts are then spawned via our ultimate, which we'll see soon. Heading to the defensive skills, we have the typical setup. Flame Shield for invulnerability, Teleport for mobility and damage reduction, Ice Barrier for, well, a barrier. And a bit of damage. Class Cannon provides a bit of damage, and Elemental Attunement allows for a chance to reset our defensives. We then head to the conjurations. Pick up all of the passives for some lucky hit, damage reduction, and our lovely conjuration mastery. Now, as it's not actually Lightning Spear doing the damage, rather the splintering energy aspect, we only need 1 point in Lightning Spear. We also pick up Enhanced and Invoked for more Lightning Spears and crowd control. Great for staggering bosses, for example. We also grab Ice Blades here so we can get Summoned Ice Blades for the cooldown reduction. In the Mastery skills, it's all about the crit damage from Devouring Blaze and Static Discharge to spawn crackling energies. We'll use these to then reduce our cooldowns. Hoarfrost boosts our damage against frozen enemies, and we gain a bit more damage reduction here. For Ultimate, Unstable Currents is just godly. More conjurations, attack speed, and crackling energies. Hell yeah, bud. And finally, the key passive. Overflowing Energy. By hitting enemies via our crackling energies, we reduce our cooldowns further. Just lovely. Well damn son, skill tree complete. Drop a sub for fuck's sake. It won't hurt. And we'll check out the Perragons because that's obviously what you're here for. Starting us off, we have Elementalist, a lovely glyph for 15% multiplicative big hecking dam. We then head on over to the Burning Instinct board, where we socket Tactician with ease. Makuna also picks up the damage reduction here, helping out in the Infernal Hordes. In the Enchantment Master, we then have Reinforced for yet more damage reduction, and we then fuck off from there over to Frigid Fate, capping out via non-physical damage bonuses. Here is also an additional reason as to why we want crackling energies, the charged glyph, allowing for a whopping 15% big damn bonus. Now here to the left is Elemental Summoner, which we also want capped. But beware that this is the last board. We also socket Conjurer, as longer duration on conjurations directly grants us more big hecking dam. It's then time to go for Ceaseless Conduit and socket the most important glyph of them all, Destruction, for all that lovely crit damage. After that, we go do Searing Heat for Exploit, and finish off with Static Surge for the Flame Feeder glyph. All in all, just a lovely Perragon. And you know what time it is now, my friends? Damn right, it's time to get hecking good, and you know it. Playing the big boy version, it's easy to get gaming, but for the one brain cell dad gamers, let's take it spell by spell. Ice Barrier can be used pretty much as often as possible. Flame Shield, though, should be saved for when you're in deep shit trouble. This could be, for example, when you're 12 beer down and pass out, or whenever the Flaming Butcher is pounding your ass. Lightning Spear and Frozen Orb are a bit more interesting, though, because ideally, all you do is throw out 1 or 2 frozen orbs onto your enemies, followed by spamming Lightning Spear. But if Lightning Spear is still on cooldown, then sure, throw out a few more frozen ball sacks. Your Unstable Currents is rather simple, though. It's used on cooldown with ease to deal big hecking dam. And finally, Teleport. Seeing as this grants a massive damage reduction bonus, feel free to use it when necessary. And for mobility, of course, to become fast as fuck boy. Well, damn, guide complete. Sub, show Makuna, and lurk in some love, and I'll see you in the next one.